The same stream every day. This village never leaves room for anything new.
We are fetching water, not going on an adventure.
Let us go to Oyimiri.
I am not going there.
You are still afraid of old women's stories?
When they got back to the village, they thought it had only been a few hours. But the villagers had been searching for them for 7 days. And by then, 2 of them were already gone. Nobody could explain what really happened at that river, but it all started with something they found. So stay with me till the very end, because this didn't end the way anyone expected. In a quiet village, 3 young girls were sent on a simple errand. Their names were Adaeze, Inkem, and Mirioma. They were close friends. They grew up in the same village, walked the same roads, and did many things together. On that day, each of them carried a clay pot on her head and left home like they always did. Their mothers had sent them to the usual stream. It was a safe place to fetch water. Everybody in the village used that stream. But as they walked, Adaeze began to complain.
The same stream every day. This village never leaves room for anything new.
We are fetching water, not going on an adventure.
Let us go to Oyimiri.
Oyimiri was the forbidden river. The whole village knew about it. Children were warned not to go there. Young girls were warned even more strongly. Many strange stories had been told about that river for years. Some said people who went there carelessly did not return the same way. Some said the river kept things. Some said it was not every hand that could touch what belonged near that water and remain in peace. Mirioma quickly shook her head.
I am not going there.
You are still afraid of old women's stories?
No, I am not going there. It is not old women's stories. Even my mother warned me about that river. Our mothers warn us about everything.
They warn us about roads, rivers, trees, and even shadows. Must we be afraid of every place they mention? Even if nothing is there, if someone sees us, we will be in trouble. You are right. We must be very careful. Nobody will see us. We will go there, look around, maybe even fetch water, then return. It is not as if we are going to spend the night there.
Mirioma was still not convinced. But Adaeze was bold and Inkem was curious. And many times in life, curiosity becomes stronger when fear is mixed with it. Adaeze kept talking until the idea began to sound harmless. Let us just go and come back, she said. At least we will see the river with our own eyes and stop living on stories. Mirioma looked at the 2 of them and made the mistake many people make when they know something feels wrong, but they do not want to be left out. She agreed. And that was how the 3 girls left the safe path and turned toward the forbidden river. The road to Oyimiri was different from the usual path to the village stream. It was narrower, quieter. The deeper they went, the thicker the bush became. The air felt different there. Not hot, not cold, just different. Even their voices became softer without them planning it. The sounds of village life faded behind them until all they could hear was the movement of leaves, distant birds, and their own footsteps on the earth. When they finally reached the river, they stopped. The place was beautiful. That was the first thing that confused them. It was not ugly, it was not rough. It was not the kind of place that looked dangerous at first sight. The river was calm and wide, with dark, still water and tall trees standing around it like silent watchers. The whole place felt untouched, like somewhere people had learned to avoid for a reason. For a few moments, the girls simply looked. Nothing happened. No strange sound, no sudden movement, no warning. Slowly, their fear began to fade. Adaeze was the first to laugh.
This is the place
everybody fears? Inkem looked around carefully. It does not look bad. Mirioma said nothing. Something still sat uncomfortably in her chest, but she could not point to it and she could not explain it. And when the other 2 began to move toward the water, she followed, because standing alone at the edge felt worse than going forward together. They dropped their clay pots. Then they moved closer to the water. Soon, they were splashing one another like children. They laughed, teased one another, and forgot themselves completely. The errand that brought them there no longer mattered. The warnings of the village no longer felt serious. For a short time, it felt like harmless fun. Then Nkem saw something. "Wait," she said. The other two turned. Near the river bank, half hidden close to the roots of a tree, was a leather bag. It looked heavy and old, as though it had not been there for very long. Miriam's heart sank immediately. "Leave it." But Adaeze had already made up her mind. She pulled it out. It was heavier than she expected. Nkem came closer. "Open it." Miriam shook her head. "No, we should leave it there." Adaeze ignored her and opened the bag. The three girls froze. Inside the bag were bundles of money. Not small money. Not the kind a child would save in secret. Real money. Plenty of it. More than any of them had ever seen in their entire lives. Amongst the money was a pair of male clothes folded carefully. For some moments, no one spoke. Then Adaeze whispered, "This can change our lives." Nkem was staring too hard to answer. Miriam was the first to recover her voice. "This is not good," she said. Adaeze turned to her. "What is not good about money? It is not ours." Nkem finally spoke. "Then whose is it?" No one answered. Miriam said they should take it to the elders. Adaeze refused immediately. "If we take this to the elders, they will seize everything and still punish us for coming here." Nkem looked from the bag to Adaeze, then to Miriam. "If we tell anybody, we will have to explain where we found it." Miriam still did not want to touch it, but Adaeze had already made up her mind. She said this was their chance. She said opportunities like this did not come twice. She said only foolish people threw away blessings because of fear. That was the moment their trouble truly began, and they had no idea, because what they carried away from that river was not just money. The journey back did not feel like the journey there. Before they found the money, they had been laughing. Now they were quiet. Each girl was lost in her own thoughts. Each one was already imagining what her share of the money could become. For Adaeze, it meant escape from poverty. For Nkem, it meant comfort, a better future. For Miriam, it meant fear. She no longer felt excitement, only the heavy feeling that something had gone wrong the moment they touched that bag. Adaeze spoke first. "We should divide it." Nkem nodded. "Yes, now." Miriam hesitated before speaking. "Can we not still return it?" The answer came without words, just the way Adaeze and Nkem looked at her. And in that moment, Miriam understood they had already gone too far. They stopped at a hidden part of the bush. They set down their clay pots and opened the bag again. This time, the money felt different, more real, more serious, more dangerous. The plan was simple. 3 girls, 3 equal shares. But the moment they began to count, Miriam stepped aside and everything changed. "Count properly," Nkem said. "I am counting properly," Adaeze replied. "You are rushing." Adaeze looked up at Nkem with fury in her eyes. "Do you think I am trying to cheat you?" Miriam finally said, "Let us count together to make peace reign." Then they started again, slower this time, careful, but something had already entered the moment: suspicion. Every bundle felt uneven, every pile looked wrong, every movement felt like it could hide something. When they finished, they arranged 2 shares. Miriam had made it clear she never wanted to be a part of it. 2 shares meant a lot of money, but it didn't seem satisfying. "Mine is smaller," Adaeze said. It is not, Nkem replied. They are the same, Miriama added. Adaize shook her head. No, no. If I did not suggest we come here, none of us would have found this. That does not mean you deserve more, Nkem said. I was the one with courage. Nkem held her gaze. No, you are the one with greed. That word stayed in the air. Greed? Say that again, Adaize said. You heard me, Nkem replied.
Watch out for the final episode.